calling the nation to awareness and action. We are standing at a crossroad in the Bahamas, especially in Nassau, New Providence, where crime and violence threaten the very fabric of our society. As a nation, we can no longer ignore the reality we are facing. We are losing too many of our young men to crime, our communities to fear, and our economy to instability. If we do not act now, the consequences will be devastating. The reality of crime in the Bahamas. Every day, headlines are filled with stories of murder, robbery, domestic violence, and gang activities. Nassau has become a breeding ground for crime, while our old islands remain relatively untouched for now. But let us be clear. Crime does not stay in one place. If left unchecked, this crisis will spread, destroying families, businesses, and our international reputation. The impact on our economy. Investors and tourists will choose other destinations if our crime remains high. Small businesses will suffer when communities are unsafe. Young people see crime as an opportunity because they lack real economic opportunities. The impact of families and communities. Fathers are absent, not just from the homes, but from society, because many are incarcerated or dead. The drug trade, gang violence, and gun culture are becoming the norm. Children are growing up seeing violence as a way of life, perpetrating a cycle that will not end unless we intervene. Now let's look at the root causes of crime in Nassau. 1. Breakdown of the family unit. Too many young men are growing up without fathers or strong male role models. Parents are not equipped to guide their children away from crime. The home is the first place where values should be instilled, but too many homes are broken. Number 2, lack of economic and educational opportunities. Many of our youth do not see a future outside of crime. We are failing to equip them with skills, mentorship, and job opportunities. The system is criminalizing young men instead of rehabilitating them. Number 3, gangs, guns, and drug culture. The streets have become the replacement for families. Guns are too easily accessible, and crime lords are recruiting the vulnerable. If we do not break the cycle, we will continue to see generation after generation loss. Now let's look at the solutions. A united front against crime is necessary. First, the role of families. We cannot expect law enforcement alone to fix this problem. This is a national crisis that requires all hands on deck. The role of the families. Parents must be actively involved in raising, mentoring, and monitoring their children. Fathers must return to their rightful place in the home and society. The community must support at-risk families with resources and parenting programs. The role of the government and law enforcement: strengthen youth intervention programs that provide mentorship, skills training, and employment opportunities. Enforce stronger penalties for gun smuggling and gang recruitment. Reform the criminal justice system to focus on rehabilitation, not just punishment. The role of the church: the church must be more than a place of worship. It must be a center for social change. Pastors and leaders must be on the streets, in the communities, mentoring young men and women. Churches should partner with schools, civic organizations, and law enforcement to provide alternatives to crime. The role of civil society and civic organizations: expand after-school programs, mentorship initiatives, and trade schools. Businesses must commit to hiring, training at-risk youth instead of allowing crime to thrive. Community policing and neighborhood watch programs must be reintroduced and strengthened. The final call to action: the time to act is now. The Bahamas is at war, not with another country, but with a spirit of violence, crime, and destruction. But let me be clear: we can win this war if we stand together. The question is, will we? If you are a parent, start by raising your children with values that keep them off the streets. If you are a church leader, ask yourself, what are we doing outside the four walls of this church? If you are a business owner, invest in youth before the streets do. If you are in the government, prioritize crime prevention policies before it's too late. Enough is enough. I say again, enough is enough. The time for talk is over. The Bahamas needs action. Let's take back our communities. Let's take back our youth. Let's take back our nation. I am Troy Clark, President and CEO of the National Lead Institute and Director of ISUP Bahamas National Chapter. And I am calling for every Bahamian to stand and fight for the future of our country. Together, we can turn the tide. I say, together, we can turn the tide. Please share this message. Take action. The Bahamas depends on it.